are Ratling guns, and you go in patch 6.2.2. I'll try and be as comprehensive as possible with this unit, since recent patch versions have not necessarily made your life easier with them, and their limitations are easy to highlight when the AI gets any chance to do so. Thus, we must plan ahead better and hide those weaknesses like the venerable military scholar Ratsu taught us. Recruited for 800 gold and 200 upkeep, on Ultra scale you get 32 entities with 3,936 health between them, on par with most teams. Armor of 70 is the standard for such teams of 2 Rats. Leadership 50 is middling and therefore kind of bad. Speed 38 and the unlikely to be used charge speed 44 means they can reposition with decent alacrity. Melee attack 16 is as bad as we expected, attack interval 4.3, no solace, and no melee splash. Melee defense 16 is likewise miserable. Weapon strength 26 is split base 20 and armor piercing 6, charge bonus 2, mass 150. I'm sure half of that is the gun. In this case, the third-party card shows ammunition 15, as is right and proper. Range of 145 is Arab Boys level, I believe, not as far as crossbowmen, nowhere near as far as High Elves archers, further than Goblin archers. Each and every shot inflicts the suppressed debuff for minus 30% speed and stacks with other sources of speed debuffs, and frankly, either stacks with stagger inflicted by the shots or possibly with other Ratling guns. Maybe it's not supposed to, but it seems to. But, stuff tends to slow down a visibility. This is one of the core features of the unit, a point I want to drill into your skull with a warp grinder, because it's often lost on people. Missile strength is officially 288. Each individual bullet does base 2 and armor piercing 6 damage, so while that's 75% armor piercing, one bullet doesn't do that much. There are 18 shots per volley, so the guns go rat-tat-tat-tat. Reload time is 5.0 seconds default. The hard cap on reload time is 4.0 seconds, I believe. This means any combination of boosts that reaches 20% reload time reduction, including the Forbidden Workshop upgrade, have reached the cap, and when you see the screen filled with streams of green tracer rounds, that's the volley, not the reload. Total accuracy begins at 30, which is 10 better than usual. Calibration distance of 70 means that they become consistently inconsistent beyond that range, not even quite half of their regular maximum, and calibration area of 2.7 meters means that they are a lot better at hitting a Cygor than an Arch-Lector on foot. There is no multi-target penetration, it just feels like there is because a dead entity stops no bullets. That principle matters here more than most cases. That, and it sounds philosophical. The unit has Hide and Forest, Scurry Away, and Strength in Numbers for traits, which makes it pretty plain vanilla, except for Suppressed. In the redline skills, Blast Master at 3 pips provides plus 20% ammunition and 8% reload time reduction. Warp Smart gives rank 7 and up gunners, leadership plus 5, missile strength plus 12%, and 15% missile resistance. In the tech tree, Enormous Caches is a key tech offering minus 5% upkeep plus 25% ammunition. Ensure product quality as plus 10% range, very nice here, and plus 10% missile strength, very nice here. Reject poor recruits as plus 2 to recruit rank, requisition protective gear as plus 10 armor. The Forbidden Workshop upgrades provide the legendary Endless Drum passive, proccing every 25 seconds if ammunition is below 80%, plus 15% reload time reduction for number 2, therefore more useful in armies without both a Lord speccing into it and a Warlock Engineer, and finally, ammunition plus 10% paired with missile damage plus 10%. Damage is damage, you always want more. So how do we use Ratling guns? This isn't a trivial question. Put bluntly, overloading with too many of them makes you really vulnerable to disruption. I think the sweet spot might well be 3 absent a really specialized setup, and those setups usually rely on Plague Priests casting Vermin Tide, and that's great for late game armies. It is not great for early game, where you just plain won't have the help available, or at least not in the quantities you want, and your wins won't be generous enough at any one time to spam without limit. So this is the lesson I want to impart. Notwithstanding that Ratling guns can do incredible damage given special conditions, they are support weapons first and foremost, by which I mean their real job is to slow the enemy down and chip away with armor-piercing damage to make up for the types of damage, for example, Warpfire throwers will not do enough of. Moreover, the paradox of the Ratling gun is that it's more accurate and will do more damage at distances far more dangerous to you. Nowadays, guard mode is not enough to keep up your fire, and if you can keep enemies off them, it's often healthier to not use guard mode, but basically, there are two broad situations. One is that you have reasons to focus down a single target because it's the scariest thing by far, a Scarbrand for instance. The other is that you want to slow everything down in a cone indiscriminately so that your other forces and magic and whatever can focus fire into it and just maximize damage, damage, damage. That means the Ratlings have to do their share of the damage, absolutely. But they're the setup rats lobbying assists so that your other scorers can have field days. On the theme of the sum being greater than the parts, Giselles and their shield breaker attribute are phenomenal assist creators for the Ratling guns themselves. If you're trying to slow the enemy down, any source of poison, or for that matter, toxic rain added to poison, will help out. Remember, slowing helps the gunners and their friends alike. It's also insurance if your warp grinders can't stop everything you need stopped on the ground, and hopefully in the air you have ruin casters to deal with it. The rest is just a matter of positioning, crossing fingers, and trying to respond to the many ways the enemy will try to frustrate you, but broadly speaking, if you are on a narrow front, the AI has to get narrow against you, and you have a lot more freedom to fire above friendly heads if the enemy is very tall. Just keep in mind the great vulnerability to terrain issues, and that accuracy is proportional to the size of the enemy. For the same reason they'll miss friendly clan rats a lot, they'll miss enemy swordsmen to an extent as well, plus no shield breaker on Ratlings themselves. Let's just keep in mind, Ratling guns aren't really long range, and their best damage is at rather short ranges. They can be outranged and outfought by quite a few things, plus rushed and crushed by cavalry. When you have basically infinite ammo, what you need is time. The enemy's goal is to take that time away. Your job is to maximize it. If you succeed, you will grind the enemy into dust, and the other parts of your force will burn away flesh and gristle with greater speed, while these warp bullets puncture bone and steel. That is the combination that wins for you. Take care, and have fun rat-tat-tatting away!